I am the author of the book, The Sky's the Limit, and that means that I did what? I wrote the book. And my illustrator, her name is Tony. And Tony and I met when we were in the 7th grade. I moved to Douglas County in the 7th grade, and we met each other at Chapel Hill Middle School. Now, every single thing that I tell you, I'm going to tell you for a reason. So without talking, I want you to raise your hand if you have been at Holly Springs Elementary since kindergarten. How many of you? Okay, put your hands down. So I want you to realize this. I have known Tony for well over 40 years, and we did not meet until we were in the 7th grade. So you guys are going to be able to say when you're my age, if some of the people that you went to kindergarten here with, you're going to be able to say that you've known them for almost 50 years. Now, when I started to think about the idea of writing a book, I knew Tony was very creative, and I want to talk to you about how much she loves children. And so I want you to realize how long you might have some relationships together. So we were buddies, and every time we got a chance, we stood next to each other and we became friends. Now, this is going to be harder for you not to make any noise. Raise your hand without talking or making any noises if you like Chick-fil-A. Okay, me too. Put your hands down. Tony, the man that started Chick-fil-A, his name was Truett Cathy, and he was a very good man. And he didn't just sell chicken sandwiches. He did a lot of good things for people. And he started something called WinShape program. And in the WinShape program, they have foster homes for children whose families are going through hard times. And Tony loves children so much. For 22 years, she has worked in the foster homes in the WinShape program. So she's a really neat person. I hope you guys get to meet her one day. This is my high school basketball team, and I want you to see that years later, we met when we were 12, 13, 14 years old. When you get together and you do things like you're in clubs and you participate on teams and you have shared experiences, then when you get to be 50 years old, 55 years old, 60 years old, you may be sitting at dinner eating with those people and talking about your memories, and I hope that for you. Now, raise your hand without talking if you've been to Arbor Place Mall. Good, I figured. Okay, put your hand down. You'll be able to tell. When I leave here today, you're going to probably go, wow, she talks a lot, and she talks fast, and that is true. And I don't usually get nervous because I know what I'm going to say, and I like to talk. But I was really nervous on this day because we were being interviewed by a little TV station, and we had microphones and cameras and a lot of people there. And the reason I was nervous was because, one, our book had not come out yet. Two, I thought, wow, I'm really putting myself out there because, you know, when you do something like that, some people are going to like your book and some people might not. So you really have to have courage to do something out of the ordinary you've never done before. And I didn't know what questions she was going to ask us, so we had to formulate the answers while people were standing there watching us. So I just want you to know when you do something out of the ordinary, you have to have courage. This is Tony's family. Those are her 6 children. She's very proud of the fact that they are all college graduates. Now, something I want you to know is you can be successful and not be a college graduate. You might decide what you're passionate about is cooking, and you might decide you want to be a chef, or you may be very good at tinkering with cars and you decide you want to be a great auto mechanic. But she is very proud of the fact that all 6 of her children graduated from college. I want you to remember the girl in the bluish green and the girl with the straps, because I'm going to tell you something about them later on. Can you shake your head? You can remember them. At the bottom, those are her grandchildren. Now listen to this. Listen, that's not the even craziest part. She is on grandchild number 16. 16 is on its way, and they are 5 years or under right now. Pretty crazy, right? So, but she loves kids, so that's a good thing. That's her and her husband, David. And now we're going to stay on this slide for a while because this is going to be a big part of the challenges that I make for you. This is my family. I want you to remember the boy in the blue. Now, I went to the school one day, and one of the kids said, you know, your favorite son. And I said, oh, no, he's not my favorite. I was just telling you a story about him. We're going to end today's presentation talking about the boy in the blue. His name is Chance, and it's going to be a big part of one of the challenges I make to you. But Chance loves everything about space. He loves planes. He loves rockets. He loves astronomy. He loves everything about space. He works in Florida, and he is getting his master's in aerospace. His dream would be for one day somebody to ask him to be in the astronaut program. But right now, what he does is designs big plane engines. Casey, you may end up having her as a teacher one day. She teaches 7th grade language arts and social studies at Chapel Hill Middle School. Okay, without saying anything, some of your siblings might have her. Her name is Miss Haynes. And that's my husband, Todd, and that's me, and that's my son, Chase. Now, I'm going to brag on them a little bit, but I'm not just doing it because mamas love to brag. That's part of it, but I'm going to make challenges to you. One, I think they're beautiful, but they were blessed. And 2, they're smart, and you have to develop your brain, but they were born with good brains. And they were pretty good athletes. Raise your hand without talking if you know what it means to be a good athlete. What does it mean? And you're good at what? Sports. Endurance. Specifically, they played a lot of different things, but specifically, they were runners. Now, in high school, when you go, most of you might go over here to Chapel Hill. Some of you might go to Douglas County to the IB program. Maybe you'll go to Alexander, or maybe you'll end up at another high school. Every high school in the state of Georgia every year gives one award to a boy or a girl. Not one girl and one boy, but one award. And it's called the Wendy's High School Heisman. The Wendy's High School Heisman is for the best student athlete at the school. That means it doesn't matter if you're the fastest runner, you're the best football player, you're the best cheerleader, you're the best golfer, you're the best tennis player. You have to be great in the classroom. You have to turn your work in. You have to be good character. You have to score well on your tests. You just have to apply yourself and do very well. All 3 of my children were the Wendy's High School Heisman Athletes of the Year at Chapel Hill High School out of over 300 kids in their class. All 3 of them spoke at their high school graduation, and this guy right here, they all graduated high in their class, but this guy graduated with the #1 grade point average, and that is a word that starts with a V. Does anybody know what that word is? Valedictorian. If you graduate valedictorian, that means you graduated #1 in your class. If you graduate salutatorian, that means you were #2 in your class. Sitting right here, right now, if you love to read and you're a good student and you know you're a person who loves to apply yourself to goals, you might sit here right now and go, I want to try to do that. I'm going to try to be valedictorian of my class. That is something that Chase decided when he was in the 9th grade, but you could decide that even earlier. Now, here's what I wanted to tell you about this, and this is the challenge I wanted to make. Not one single time, and I'm telling you the truth, not one single time did I ever say to any of them, did you do your homework today? Not one single time did I say, did you do your homework? Did you study for your test? Did you do your project? Is your bag packed? Did you do this? Did you do that? And the reason I was able to do that is because we had a bigger goal and a bigger rule in our house, and this is my first big challenge to you. So shake your head that you hear me. If you decide to make a promise to yourself to do the very best you can do in everything you do, everything, little things, medium things, big things, everything. That means when your feet hit the floor in the morning, you make your bed the best you can. And if you're like, why do you make your bed? You're going to get right back in your bed at night. I don't make my bed. If you get up and you make your bed well, you're starting off the day, I'm doing things right. You brush your teeth, brush them the best you can brush them. Every single thing you do. Now, does that mean that you're going to be good at everything? No. So I've told you about them being smart. And I was honest with them when they were little. I'm going to tell you something about me. So when I was in elementary school, I had a hard time paying attention. Didn't do so well in school. Was absolutely horrid at math. Like, you can't be worse at math than I was. You can't. Now, when I got to high school, I took pretty challenging classes, and I avoided the hard math classes. I took whatever was the easiest, and I don't think I did very well in that. And it really affected some things in my life. And so finally, towards the end of high school, I was like, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a PE teacher. I love it. I love to play. This is something I can do. I think I'm going to be a good teacher. Well, when I went to college, they have a list of things that you have to take. And math was one of them, college math, and it had algebra in it. So I thought, okay, I put it off and put it off. When I finally got in the class, I thought, if I try my best and I don't quit, the teacher will pass me, right? Yeah, wrong. So I failed my college math class. So then I thought, okay, plan B, I got to get a tutor. Raise your hand without saying anything if you know what a tutor is. What does a tutor do?
Another person help people.
Helps you, and they're good at something you're not good at. So people could tutor you in a lot of different things. If you need help, you ask somebody who's good at that. So I chose a lady who had been Teacher of the Year in the county 2 times. I drive to her house. I got my money in my pocket. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to do my student teaching. I'm going to be a good teacher. I go in. I sit at her dining room table. She works with me for 45 minutes. She takes me out on the front porch, hands me my money back, and tells me she doesn't think she can help me. So my tutor fires me. That's pretty bad, right? So I cried all the way home, because now I'm thinking, maybe my dream's not going to come true. Maybe I'm not going to be a teacher. Well, I come back, and this was my fiance at the time, and he's good at math. You adults might get a kick out of this. He's a CPA, so that's good. And here's what he said to me. I was crying, and he said, look, you're trying to build a house on no foundation. You moved when you were little. You got embarrassed. You stopped asking questions. And here's something I didn't tell him, and this is the reason I wanted to tell you guys this. I can remember about the 3rd grade starting to misbehave in class. I would try to make the other kids laugh, and I would talk while the teacher was talking, because I was embarrassed, and I thought it would be better if the kids thought I was funny or I was cool than to think I wasn't very smart, okay? So I got further and further behind. So he said, we need to go get a book that literally starts with 1 + 1 and work all the way through the book and figure out, where you lost your way and build that foundation. So I did that. Every night we did about 10 pages of the book. It was about this thick and it was orange. I'll never forget it. Okay, guess what? Signed back up for my class, and guess what? Not only did I pass, I made an A, and then I understood the kids who didn't understand, so I was able to go back to my college, and there's a class called 099, and that's for kids that are behind in a certain subject. And I went back to that class, and I was able to help them. So another challenge, when you finally get something, be it that you were struggling to learn to jump rope and all of a sudden you get it. That's really easy for some people. For some people it's not. To ride a bike, to ride a skateboard, to learn how to do, chemistry, anything. It might be a small challenge, a big challenge, a sports challenge, academic challenge. Once you get it, help somebody else. Okay, so those are my grandbabies, and I just want to show you how cute they were. My second book is going to be from a grandparent to a grandchild. And these are Roadrunner coaches in the county, so I don't know if you guys might recognize any of those people. This was my Roadrunner group. This is taken out there at the stadium, and that was, those kids are about 27 years old or somewhere around there now. And that was my Cops Run kids, and that is your gym here. I know it looks a little bit different now because it used to have carpet. And that was me standing in the corner in your gym, and those were my favorite sayings, and that's my very favorite of all. Okay, now we're going to talk about, well, what made me want to write a book? So I'm going to tell you this. I had an idea that kept on rolling around in my head for the last page of a book. And I knew that I wanted to dedicate it to my dad. And you will figure out later on why I did that. And so I was telling somebody else. I remember having a conversation with somebody else, and the coach or the teacher in me was saying to them, that's a great idea, but you told me that before. Why don't you just do it? Like the Nike commercial says, I said, just do it. So I was thinking about this idea for the end of a book, and I was walking through Target one day, and I saw this journal. Y'all read that for me. Okay, raise your hand without talking if you can tell me the difference in a journal and a book. What's the difference?
a journal and a book is because a book can be, like first person, second person, or third person, but a journal is kind of like mainly about you.
You. So you're writing your own what?
Diary.
Your diary or your ideas. Now let me tell you this, if you're upset about something, writing in a journal can get it off your mind, allow you to sleep. If you're a creative person and you have ideas all the time, like sometimes I want to go. I wish I had a turn off button, like I could make my ideas stop. So I write it in a journal and I sit it next to my bed and that helps me. Well, when I saw this at Target, and it is a journal, I bought it and I was going down to see my son. You know, the one I told you loved everything about space? Okay, so I went down there, and you'll see why later on, because I was raised in a place called Satellite Beach, Florida, so that brought back some memories of my dad, and I put it in my suitcase, and when I got to my son's house, I walked out on a dock, and I wrote my rough draft. Now, I know you guys know what a rough draft is. There's a lot of work after the rough draft, so it took me about a year and a half to really get things going, even though it's just a small book. So there's a lot of work to it. Okay, now this is my cover, and so we're going to start the book in a minute, but I want to tell you this. It has a pledge and a promise inside the first page. Now this book is available on Amazon, so if you decide at the end, I like that and I want to get it, you can tell your parents it is available on Amazon. This pledge or promise, I want to say, and I know the adults in here know this, sometimes pledges and promises are harder to keep to yourself than they are to other people. Us adults, we go, we're going to start walking, we're going to stop at the gym, and then somebody calls and goes, hey, guess what, I need XYZ, and they go, oh, okay, and they'll push themselves back. But for you to keep these promises to yourself would be a really great big thing, okay? So it's not just, oh, let me sign my name in the book because the book belongs to me. You want to sign it because you're really committing to promise this to yourself. So it says, who promises to always try my best, believe in myself, follow my dreams, never waste my gifts and potential, never be afraid to be different, and believe I have an equal right to the best in life. Now, this is the title page. In case you ever want to write a book, the title page has to have the what? The title. But it doesn't have to have the same picture as the cover of your book. If you decide one day you want to write a book, I would be more than happy to tell you, I'm not an expert, but things that I have learned along the way. But I can tell you this. If you dedicate a project to somebody you love, whether it's a poem or a song or a rap or a book or a series of photographs, if you dedicate it to somebody you love, it can help you push through on your project. All right, we're going to start reading. You may see some vocabulary, even though you're 4th and 5th grade, that you do not know, and that's okay. We have downloadable free lesson plans on our website, and Ms. Harbin's going to share that with all your teachers. If you want to know the words in the book, you will be able to learn those. So we're going to start reading now. You ready? Maybe you'll be an architect, drawing buildings that reach so high. Or perhaps you'll be a baker, made famous for your yummy pie. Just believe you can do whatever, anything you want to do. Just know the sky's the limit. Nothing can stop you. Perhaps you will choreograph the next dance crazes or become a dog trainer helping pups through the bad phases. You can achieve every dream if you always aim high, reach for the stars and strive for the sky. I hope you will remember the little engine that could. You must believe in yourself. You really, really should. Maybe you'll be an interpreter traveling the world far and wide. Or how about a judge with a jury by your side? The sky's the limit. It's really true. There simply is nothing that you cannot do. Find good mentors, do well in school, and always remember that learning is cool. You could be a meteorologist predicting the weather, or what about a nurse who makes others feel better? Maybe you'll be a photographer and sell your photos far and wide. Or how about a veterinarian caring for animals with pride? Whatever you do, dream big and reach far, believe in yourself and shoot for a star. Possibly you'll be a singer, maybe play in a band, or write the best music in all of the land. Choose what you love as you go on your way, believe in yourself, whatever others may say. Maybe you'll be a graphic designer, giving things your artistic touch. Or possibly be a historian who remembers oh so much. You may be an engineer with inventions galore, or perhaps a ship's captain taking cruises offshore. Perhaps you'll be an educator, someone who loves to teach, conveying to your students that no dream is out of reach. Whether you're a wood carver, ice sculptor, or mountain guide, I truly hope you'll have loyal friends at your side. Some claiming friendship may be naysayers, it's true. That's why it's so important for you to believe in you. And remember, you don't have to do just one thing. You may have many talents that make your heart sing. The sky's the limit, just take a chance. Choose a path which will make your heart dance. Wait, stop, hold the presses. I have something to report. If I don't tell you this, I'll be selling you short. I told you the sky's the limit. This may make you stop too soon. How can the sky be the limit when there's footprints on the moon? The end. Okay. Did you know, just shake your head, did you know that there was footprints on the moon? Okay, we landed on the moon in 1969. I was 8 years old. The project was called Apollo 11, and my dad helped build this machine right here. Okay, and that's the reason when I tell you that I dedicated the book to my dad, that is the reason why. Now, raise your hand without saying anything if you know what this machine is called. It starts with an L. Do you think you know what it's called? What do you think? Very good, very good. You come see me after we're done, okay? He said the lunar spacecraft. It is actually called the lunar module. Everybody say lunar module. So I'm going to start talking really fast because there's a lot of things I want to tell you, okay? So if you have questions, save them till the end. But tell me how cool this is. There was a part that came off the lunar module that was called the lunar rover that was almost like a four-wheeler. So imagine being an astronaut bouncing around up there and driving something that's like a four-wheeler on the moon. Is that not cool? Okay, so we're going to talk pretty quick now because that's my dad right there, and I wanted you to know there's me in front of a rocket display. And this is when a newspaper came to do a report on him because there's actually a piece on the lunar module that was named after my dad. Now, there was a lot of brilliant people who worked on the lunar module, but they could not have accomplished that if they didn't work together. What is that called to work together? Just say it. Teamwork. That's one of the things I want you to remember is teamwork. For your art people, we're going to be sending some, I told you Tony was my illustrator. Well, we're going to be sending some lessons to your art teacher on something called YouTube Directive Draw, hopefully by the end of this year so that you guys can work on those. But I wanted to tell you, that is my third favorite picture. Of course, the lunar module one is my first. And this is my second because I love the shadowing. So that'll be a part of the art lesson. And she's aiming, and so that represents aiming high for your goals, but she's aiming at the sun, which is a what? Star. Is a star. I figured you guys would know that. Remember how I told you to remember the girl in the greenish blue and the girl with okay, so right now, here's what I want to tell you about your dreams. The girl that was in the green and blue, she's very smart, and she wanted to be a veterinarian when she grew up. She loved animals, and she could have been a veterinarian. But her little sister got sick when she was 11. She got cancer. Now, she's okay. But her big sister felt like the way that her life was saved is because of the pediatric, which means child, doctors, you know what that means, of pharmacology. Pharmacology means medicine. They took the type of cancer that she had and her body type and size and figured out the exact right medicine to give her to kill that cancer. So her big sister became, guess what? A pediatric doctor of pharmacology. That is a good reason to change your dreams. When you feel a deep thing in your gut or your heart that it's the right thing to do. Let me tell you bad reasons to change your dreams. Bad reasons are because something is hard. Everything in this world that is worth having is difficult. Are you looking at my face? Everything, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is don't change because something takes a long time. You would not believe how many kids I will run into, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? They're, hey, Coachy. I'm like, what do you do now? Well, I was going to do this, but I figured out that it was going to take this long. Because guess what, guys? That time is going to pass anyway. You should be what you want to be. Keep pushing for it if you really want it bad. Okay, this says the sky's the limit. Just take a chance. Choose a path which will make your heart dance. Does your heart really dance? No. Okay, so it means to make you what? Happy. Do some. I cannot imagine getting up every morning and go, God, I got to go to work today. Now, I'm going to tell you, your teachers, I'm sure, get tired. They're humans. They get in a bad mood sometimes. But you know what? They do what they do because they love it, or they would not be able to do it. They love to see you learn and grow. They're passionate about what they do, or they wouldn't do it, and you should do that too. Okay, now what is this little guy sitting in? Does it mean he's not smart? No. Does it mean he doesn't need friends? No. Let me tell you something that I think. This is just my opinion, and the other adults can tell if they agree with this. Sometimes as we get older, we get more and more afraid of things that are different and people that are different than us. And the thing that I think we're afraid of is that we're going to say the wrong thing, okay? So imagine if you were in a wheelchair and nobody ever talked to you because you were afraid that you were going to say the wrong thing. So one of my challenges is don't be afraid to approach somebody because they're different, because you might be giving up a chance for a great friendship, okay? Now, I love to talk about this with 4th and 5th grade. In writing the rest of the book, my goal was to think, wow, try to get as much in there that can allow you to talk to kids about things that you would like to talk to them if you had the chance to talk for 45 minutes. Well, my judge has on special glasses. Why might that be? Because what? She could be blind. Now, I know it's obvious that I'm trying to make you see that she's blind, but it doesn't mean she can't be a judge. But it also means something deeper than that. Anybody have any ideas? What do you think? Blind justice. You come see me after class. That is all. Y'all clap for him. That is awesome. Okay, I want you to know I've been to 15 schools and I've never had somebody be able to say that and know that. I'm very impressed. Justice is supposed to be blind. Shake your head, you hear me. But sometimes I think it's not. So here's my challenge to you. If you love to read and you like to argue, your parents might not like that, but you might be a great lawyer one day. And great lawyers sometimes become judges. And you can make sure that your courtroom is fair and just, because justice is supposed to be blind. Okay? The little engine that could has what's called a mantra. Everybody say mantra. A mantra is something that you say in your head when you get tired and you're ready to give up that helps you to make it through whatever's going on. Now, in the movie Dory, when she's looking for her mom and dad, she has a mantra. What does she say? Just keep swimming. Okay, so when I took my granddaughter to see that movie, I thought, it's a Disney movie. I'm watching her face. I love it because she loves it. But this Disney movie is not going to mean anything to me, right? A couple days later, I had sort of a bad day. Not real, but you know, those kind where you spill your coffee in the car and one thing after another. By the end of the day, I was going, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So I'm challenging you to come up with your own personal mantra. You can also have a family mantra. In my house, I bet I said 1,000 times, more than that, to my kids growing up. If they said, I can't, I'd say, Eldridges are not quitters. Okay? And when you say something like that enough, and you make that like your family mantra, it can really make a difference. Okay, this is about finding mentors. Okay, you don't have to wait for somebody to say, hey, I want to be your mentor. You can ask somebody else. You want to be a veterinarian? You find a veterinarian. When you get in high school, say, can I come take you to lunch? Can I ask you questions about where you went to school, about things I should do, classes I should take? Can I work in your shop? Can you help me? Now, we're going to talk, this is really important to me. Let's pretend me and you are friends. We're out on the playground playing, having a big time. And all of a sudden you fall down and get hurt and you're crying and you go, oop, he's not fun anymore. Let me go over here and find somebody fun. That's not good, right? Okay, I don't deserve to be his friend in good times if I'm not his friend in bad times. And I'm talking, if you have a friend, you want to have a loyal friend throughout life, you have to be there when things are fun, and you have to be there when things aren't fun. So that is called a fair weather friend, if I'm only there when times are fun. You guys know people like this too. I know you do. They say, oh, I love Georgia Bulldogs. Go Dogs. Woo, woo, woo. And then the Dogs lose and I don't like them anyway. So listen, and I know this is a touchy subject, but I like to wear my Georgia shirt. If the Dogs lose, I'm wearing my Georgia shirt the next day. When so many people were disappointed, don't say anything, with the Falcons a couple years ago, we thought we were going to win the Super Bowl, and people were really down on them. I wore my Falcons shirt the next day because you don't deserve to be a fan in good times if you're not a fan in bad times. All right, is he thinking or is he blocking his ears? Because somebody's saying negative things, right? Okay, so that's called being a naysayer. All right, so let me give you an example of a naysayer. Let's say you tell me, we're buddies, and you say, I want to start a restaurant, and I go, wow, that costs a lot of money. Maybe you should start with a food truck. That is good advice. But if I say, you don't even know how to cook, are you crazy? That is negative, okay? And if you're with somebody who keeps saying negative things, then you need to probably find another friend. All right, so I want to tell you, look at my face. Raise your hand if you love football, to play or to watch. Okay, put your hands down. Unless you watch ESPN 30 for 30, you're probably not going to know this guy. But I'm going to tell you one of my favorite naysayer stories. This guy's name is Doug Flutie. He played football in Florida. Are you looking at me? And he was a good high school player, and everybody said, he's a good high school player, but he can't play in college, can't be a college quarterback, he's too little. And Boston College said, come play for us. We'll take you. Well, he ended up winning the College Heisman Trophy. That is for the best player in the country. That doesn't just mean little schools. That means every school. That means Clemson. That means Florida. That means Georgia. That means Alabama. Everybody, okay? He was the #1 player in the country. And everybody said, oh, that's great, you know, but he cannot play a quarterback in the pros because he is too little. Guess what? He played his whole career, and he was amazing. I think it's because he had a deep belief in himself, and I think it's because he tried hard at the little things, the medium things, and the big things. He didn't have to have any regrets like, I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda, because he did his best at everything. Now I'm just going to quickly go through some memorabilia stuff, and I'm going to tell you about the boy in the blue. Remember how I told you I was going to end? I don't want you to point, and I don't want you to laugh. Now, I'm going to tell you that this is my son Chance, and this was when he went to Holly Springs Elementary. And Chance was in about 3rd grade here, and his brother was a really good runner. His brother was in high school, and he was a really good runner. And Chance wanted to be a fast runner too. Now, let me go ahead and say this because of me being a PE teacher. It does not matter how fast you are. Your heart is a muscle. And it's important for everybody to do things that makes your heart beat faster. Dance, swim, bike, run. Doesn't matter if you do it fast. You want your heart to be strong because it's a muscle. But Chance wanted to be fast, and he was not. He wasn't fast, right? So right here, he was finishing a race. Do you recognize that driveway? That's coming right down. And I'm going to tell you that whenever Chance was about this age and he would run a 5K, which is 3.1 miles, it was taking him about 44 minutes. Okay, now we would go celebrate. I'd say, let me go get you a book. I'm so proud of you for running. You're not sitting on the couch eating Twinkies. You're doing something for your heart and your body. That's great. But he was like, man, I want to be fast. 44 minutes is not fast. Some kids the same age as him were running it in almost half the amount of time. about 23, 24 minutes, okay? Right here, he's in the 6th grade, and on this particular day, he finished last in this race. Okay, I want to tell you this. He didn't cry, he didn't pout, and I celebrated, but I remember this day because on the way home he said, Mom, will you take me to the office supply store? And he bought a white notebook, and he still has it. He's 24 years old now, and he wrote everything about running in there. His goals, how many miles were on his shoes, what he ate, how he slept, how much time he ran, what his times were, what his pace was, everything he wrote in that book. And then he started to say that he wanted to be on the middle school track team. Now, this is when I said to him, I just thought, he was saying, I want to be on the track team. I thought, oh, Lord, bless his heart. And I said to him, I said, Chance, listen, because I was thinking, why can't he want to be a football lineman? Because he's a big guy, you know? And I said, look, man, I don't think that the coach, and you guys will find out when you get to Chapel Hill Middle School, Coach Locker, I said, I don't think he's going to look at you and go, that's a distance runner. I think you're going to have to learn to throw the shot put, which is an iron ball, and the discus, which is like a frisbee that's coated with rubber and it's heavy, and it's upper body strength. You throw it as far as you can, or you put a shot put as far as you can. Now, look at me. He didn't want to do that, but he did, okay? So the path to your goals is not always straight. Sometimes you have to do a lot of things on the way to your goal that you don't want to do. So he ended up making the team. And look, remember when I told you that race he finished last? In the Cops Run, he finished last one year, and the next year he finished first. Okay? Now he starts saying, Mom, I want to run in high school. Now when you get to the high school over here, you're going to be 13 or 14 years old, and if you play on a varsity team, that's the best team at the school. Sometimes there's a 9th grade team, a JV team, and a varsity team. Well, he wanted to be on the varsity, and he wanted to be in the top 5, because in cross country, the top 5 scores count. Shake your head that you're with me, okay? And I'm thinking again, bless his heart, okay? Well, here he is. He qualified every year for the state meet, okay? And then guess what? As a senior, guess what? He's faster than his brother, okay? So those of you, raise your hand without talking if you've ever run a 5K. Wow, good. Okay, so you know how I told you it took him over 44 minutes? Now his fastest time is a 15:07. That is with the 3.1, with the 0.1, a 15:07 is a sub 5-minute mile. So now you think that I would believe in him, right? He tells me he's going to do something, I would believe it. He starts saying, Mom, I want to run in college. And I'm like, Lord, I knew he wanted to go to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a very hard school academically. That's him in his uniform. And I was very proud of him. But I want to tell you the thing. You know, I told you I thought they were beautiful and they were smart and they were athletic. But the thing I'm most proud of, and this is my last challenge for you, they're kind. They are kind people. They choose to be kind. And that doesn't mean that you're going to like everybody. Okay, you're not going to like everybody. But aren't you glad that we're all different? What if you took what you thought was the smartest, best looking, coolest, most athletic person and said, we want everybody to be like that? Would that not be super boring if we were all alike? Yeah. Now, so if we agree we like to be people to be different, we have to accept people for their differences. So I want to tell you the thing I was most proud of here. I was invited to his senior banquet, and he was named a ACC Most Caring Athlete. I knew he was helping with an organization called Girls on the Run, which is little girls in Atlanta that's a running group, but I had no idea all the things that he was volunteering for. So he's going to a hard school, he's running probably about 10 miles a day, and he's volunteering his time. That is what I was very, very proud of, okay? Now, I've told you about 10 things that are challenges to you, and if somebody told me 10 things, I wouldn't be able to remember them. Can you scoot over just a little bit, baby? Can my superhero folks slide up and stand up and face your classmates? Now, don't say anything. I'm going to hand them a star. Turn and face your classmates. Hold that where your classmates can see it, please. And then we're going to remind you of things. Now, if you're like me and you have trouble remembering 10 things, I'm going to tell you at the end what I think the 2 most important things are, okay? All right, so can you see it enough for us to read it together? What's that say? Teamwork. Okay, what's? Be a loyal friend. Mantra. Mantra, like Dory. Believe in yourself. Do your best. Kindness. Do what makes you happy. Find mentors. Block out naysayers. Those people that say bad things. Okay, now, when I see you at a grocery store, and I will, you'll see me, and I want you to say, hey, you can say, hey, Coach E, remember you came to my school? I'm going to ask you the 2 things, and this is one. So say this again. Do your best. Okay, when you do your best at everything you do, you know what? You're going to end up being good at some things. You're going to still struggle with some things, but at least you don't have to say, I could have, I should have, I would have. You can just go, I did my best, okay? Now that's a hard thing to do, but I want to challenge you to do that and tell your parents that you are going to do that. From the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed. Where's my other one? Here we go. Step out here. This is my second challenge for you that I really want you to remember. When you are kind on the inside, it comes out on the outside as polite and courteous. You will be a happier person, and you'll make people around you happier. Now, I'm going to tell you something I wish I knew when I was in elementary school. I'm going to tell you a secret of life. Shake your head, you hear me. Every person is like this. Sometimes you're going to wake up on a day and go, man, I'm just not feeling it today. Like you just feel blah and you don't know why. I call that a biorhythm low. You're like, I'm just not happy and I cannot figure out why. I'm going to tell you a secret. If you do 2 things that'll automatically make you feel better. 1, go do something nice for somebody else. Shake your head, you hear me. 2, go for a walk or a run, and that will automatically make you feel better. Got it? Okay, I made a lot of challenges to you today. I'm hoping that your teachers and staff in the school tell me wonderful things about you as individuals and as a group. Like I want to hear that you rock it on your, what's their test called, milestones. But here's the thing, guys. Don't get nervous about stuff like that because you're just going to do your best. And your best is, that's it. That's the best you can do. But I want to hear great things about you. I want to hear when your artwork goes on display. I want to hear when you're performing with your music. Put your all into everything you do and don't be afraid to try new things, okay? Thank you for letting me come today, and good luck to everybody, and set goals and do your best, okay?